Hi, 5th grade. It's Mrs. Skioka with your flipped math lesson for today, 11-8. Today's objective is I can use clues to solve multi-step problems. So today we're going to have problems that have multiple steps in them. You're going to have to really look for the clues to figure out how it is that you're going to solve these problems. Here's our first problem. How much larger is the area of the family room than the area of the kitchen? So you can see down here, this square represents the family room, this rectangle represents the kitchen, and we have to figure out, well, how much larger is the area, or this inside space, of the family room than it is the kitchen. So that's what it's asking us. How much larger? And I know that when I see how much larger, how much bigger, things like that, that I know I'm going to use subtraction to solve a problem. But I have to figure out what is the hidden thing I need to figure out first before I can figure out what would be the family room minus the kitchen to find out how much larger the family room is than the kitchen. Well, I have to find the area first. That's what's hidden. I don't know the area of the family room or the kitchen yet. I know the lengths of the side and the width of the kitchen and the family room, but I don't know the area. So that's the hidden part of the problem I had to figure out first. So I see that the family room is 17 1/3 feet across, 13 1/2 feet wide. So I'll use that to find the area, because area equals length times width. So I'll multiply one side times the other side. And then I'll do that for the kitchen. It is 12 feet long and 10 3/4 feet wide. So I'll multiply those together and then get that area. Then I'll subtract the family room minus the area of the kitchen to find my final answer. So what's the area of the family room? That's the first part I'm going to do. So to find the area of just the family room, I have to multiply the length times the width. So I'm going to multiply 17 1/3 times 13 1/2. Before I can multiply, I need to change these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So I'm going to change 17 times 3, and I don't know that off the top of my head, so I'll multiply over here times on the side. 3 times 7 is 21, carry the 2, 3, 4, 5. So 51, and then I'm going to add one more to it to get 52 thirds. And I'm going to multiply that times 13 times 2. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to change this mixed number to a improper fraction. So 13 times 2 equals 26, plus one more is 27, so 27 halves. So let me make some room really quickly by erasing a few things. There we go. Got rid of that, and then I'm going to move this up. Alright, so now I have 52 thirds times 27 halves. Now before I multiply, I'm going to see if I can cross simplify. I see 3 and 27. I know 3 can go into 27 and 3 goes into itself. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 27 divided by 3 is 9. And I know 2 and 52 can both be divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then 52 divided by 2, let's see, 50 would be 25, so 26. So now I have 26 firsts times 9 firsts. Okay, so that's a little bit easier. Let me make some more space. So 26 times 9, multiply those. 9 times 6 is 54. Carry the 5. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 5 is 23. So the area of the family room is 234 feet squared. Okay, so now I found that part. Now I have to find the area of the kitchen. So I'll do that on the next page. The area of the kitchen. So I'm multiplying the length times the width. So 12 times 10 3/4. So first I'm going to change them into fractions. The 12 is easy, just put it over 1, so I'll write that over here, 12 over 1. 10 and 3/4, so I'm going to multiply 10 times 4 to get 40, plus 3 would be 43/4. Now before I multiply, I'm going to cross simplify. So I can cross simplify here, dividing 4 by 4, and I get 1. Divide 12 by 4, and I get 3. So now I have 3/1 times 43/1. So I'm going to multiply. I know that 3 over 1 is just 3, and 43 over 1 is just 43. So I'm going to just get rid of those ones and just multiply 43 times 3. So 43 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. So 129 feet squared. So now I'm going to take both the kitchen and the family room. I'm going to subtract the kitchen area from the family room's area. Okay, so I just wrote them down again. The area of the family room is 234 feet squared. The area of the kitchen is 129 feet squared. The original question asked us how much larger is the family room than the kitchen. So I'm going to subtract the family room minus the kitchen. So that's what I'm going to do next. So 4 minus 9, I can't do that, so I'm going to borrow. Change that to a 2 and change 4 to 14. So 14 minus 9 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. And 2 minus 1 is 1. So 105 feet. Oh, my pen's not doing great. 105 feet squared will be my answer. Let's see if I can write that a little better. 105 feet squared. Not much better. Let's try another one. This time you are going to figure out what is the hidden problem. Use your clues to figure that out and then solve the entire problem. Okay, let me read it with you. A website has a daily trivia contest. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you have 1.5 hours to submit an answer. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you have 1 1/4 hours. How many hours do you have in 1 week? Okay, so just 1 week, how many hours would you have to submit the answer altogether? Go ahead and pause the video, solve it, and then come back when you're done. Okay, did you solve the problem? Okay, you shouldn't be playing this unless you solved it. All right, let's talk about this a little bit. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So 3 days, you have 1.5 hours to submit an answer. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 1.5. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you have 1 1/4 hours. So I'm going to take 1 1/4 times 2. Then I'm going to add those up to figure out how much I have in 1 week. So you can see I wrote out Monday, Wednesday, Friday equals 1.5 hours, and then Tuesday, Thursdays is 1 1/4 hours. So I've got 1, 2, 3 days here to multiply times 1.5, and that's what I did in this section right here. 3 times 1.5, and I end up getting 9 halves. And I didn't change that back to a mixed number because I know I want to add my fractions together when I'm done, so I kept them as improper fractions. Then I multiplied Tuesday times Thursday times 1 1/4. Those are 2 days, so I multiplied 2 times 1 1/4, and I ended up, after I simplified, with 5 halves. Then on the bottom you can see where I added 9 halves plus 5 halves equals 14 halves, and that's just fancy division for 14 divided by 2, and that equals 7 hours total. So in 1 week you would have 7 hours. All right, try this one. Ethan runs 1 1/4 miles a day for a week. Gunnar walks 3 miles a day for a week. How many more miles does Gunnar walk than Ethan runs? Go ahead and solve the problem and then come back here and I will show you the solution. Okay, so Ethan is running 1 1/4 miles a day for a week. So I know I'm going to take 1 1/4 and I'm going to multiply that times 7. And Gunnar is walking 3 miles a day for a week. So I know I'm going to multiply 3 times 7. So that part's going to be easy. Then it says how many more did Gunnar walk than Ethan run? So I know that I will need to subtract. So I will need to do this section and this section, and then I'm going to subtract Ethan's away from Gunnar's. So that's what I did here. I wrote down Ethan ran 1 1/4 miles times 7, and then when I did all the math for that, I ended up with 8 3/4 miles. So he ran 8 3/4 miles in 1 week. Gunnar walked 3 miles times 7. That was pretty easy. That equals 21 miles. Now I'm going to subtract 21 miles minus 8 3/4 miles. In order to do that, I'm going to have to change this 21 to a mixed number. So I'm going to take away 1 whole, and that makes 20, and then take that 1 whole and change it to 4/4, because I know 4/4 equals a whole, and now I can subtract this 3/4 away from the 4/4. And that's what I did over here. 20 4/4 minus 8 3/4. So I subtract the fractions first. 4/4 minus 3/4 is 1/4, and then 20 minus 8 is 12. So Gunnar walked 12 1/4 miles more than Ethan ran. All right, last problem. Arena has 1 1/2 hours of homework Monday through Thursday and 2 3/4 hours over the weekend. How much homework does she have over the entire week, the whole week? Okay, and then I want to clarify this 2 3/4 hours over the weekend. That's the whole weekend. So it's not Friday she has 2 3/4, Saturday she has 2 3/4, Sunday she has 2 3/4. No, it means all together Friday, Saturday, Sunday she only has 2 3/4 hours over the weekend. Go ahead and solve the problem and come back here for the solution. Okay, so what I need to do to solve this problem is figure out how much homework she has to do over the entire week. To figure that out, I'm going to take 1 1/2 hours of homework times 4 days. So 1 1/2 times 4, because she only does that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then I'm going to add on 2 3/4 hours for the homework she has to do over the weekend. So that's what I did over here. You see I did 4 times 1 1/2 for those 4 days, and then I put those in brackets or parentheses so that I knew to do that first, and then I will add on the 2 3/4. So first let's look at this. 4 times 1 1/2, and I changed that 4 over 1, and then I changed 1 1/2 to 3/2. Multiplied them, I cross-simplified and then multiplied, and I got 6. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, she has 6 hours of homework. Then I simply add on that 2 3/4 hours, and I get 8 3/4 hours total for homework for Arena. All right, that is it. We are finished. See you later. Bye-bye.